now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Dad's is on Friday for the first time in forever. I got to do the Disney thing because the anniversary. But anyway, welcome to the Dad's Not Always on Wrestling. Don't start with me. You know what? Damn it. I could have done a lot worse than I've already done today, but I didn't because as you're watching this, no, we're not live. Friggin' duh, people. I am pretty much attired like this at the happiest place on earth, celebrating the. And again, neither of us have been around the entirety of the length of the anniversary, but 100 years of the Walt Disney Company kicks off today at Disneyland for sure. Disney World, I'm not sure what they're doing, to be honest with you, because
No one cares
I
about
don't
Disney
stay
World.
there. Right, Bianca? Or I don't go there, wherever the hell it is. But it is the 100th kickoff, and I got the synergy going. But before we get to too much Mouska Mafia shills, we're here to talk about wrestling, damn it. And today's show, yes, delayed. Taping schedules were what they were between my my whip being cracked by the mouse and his work schedule and school schedule and all the jazz. It is what it is. We're here on a Friday, but it's the day before another major road kicks off. We're talking about the 100th anniversary of the company. We are officially, as of tomorrow night, Jay, on the road to WrestleMania. And where does the road to WrestleMania kick off? But the Royal Rumble matches themselves. And today's show, once I had a little clarification, the top 10 Royal Rumble entry surprises.
Yes, surprise entries.
Yes, surprise. So I originally thought it was just surprises at the Royal Rumble. Full disclosure, I had a list. I was set. And then we opened mic night, and I asked for clarification, and I went, well, I got to scramble. Shit. Because
I could have sworn when I pitched the idea to you, I said surprise entries, but
totally, yeah,
Jeff Meacham and his infinite Meachamness with his Meacham brain, which we already know is shaken, stirred, scrambled, sunny side up, all kinds of stuff, This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on Jack Daniels.
This is Jeff's Disney brain after 4.5 months.
So,
yeah.
Jeff either misinterpreted or forgot, but
whatever it was.
As we always say, as Dusty Rhodes used to say, it is what it is, baby.
It is what it is, baby. That's
and
right.
we got him onto the correct path.
Yes.
So that he could ease on down the road.
Ease on down the road. I'm never doing that again. So
and get right with the topic at hand. Top 10 surprise entries in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And full disclosure here, right now. I've told Jeff a couple times off there. I'm going to say it right now on camera. I cheated like a motherfucker with this. Because the Rumble is my event. I love the Rumble. So I always pay attention every year, ever since I started following wrestling, to the Rumble match. Because the chaos, the mayhem, the randomness, the surprises. Honestly, and I'm sure it'll come up on one of our lists, the very first surprise I ever remember for a Royal Rumble was the Three Faces of Foley in 98.
Absolutely.
Cactus Jack was announced, the other two popped up, and just like, wait, what? And that was when I was a new fan.
Right.
And then it's just kind of spiraled from there. Like,
yeah,
if you go to the respected journalists in the wrestling community, the first Rumble to have surprise entrance was 97 because of the Mexico contingent.
Yeah.
But most people would say, starting with the Faces of Foley in 98, that's just like really what started that avalanche, and everyone tuned in and started to look on a yearly basis like, oh, wait, what?
Yes, exactly.
To the point where people have made returns, debuts, history at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm sure this person isn't on either of our lists. At least I know she's not on mine. I'd almost be willing to bet she's not on yours because of who she is. But we cannot take anything away from Nia Jax making history, competing in the women's and the men's Rumble in the same night.
Yeah, she's the only one. She's the only one.
I mean, there's other people that have competed in both Rumbles. Beth Phoenix has competed in both, but Nia is the only one to do it on the same night. So you talk about some history right here. There's history right there. So
there's definitely history, without a doubt.
But back to my original point here, as I freaking brew this coffee, I cheated like crazy. Deal with it. I'm probably going to end up stealing a lot of Jeff's thunder because of the way I cheated. But damn it, that just shows how much I did my homework.
Hey, you know what? I always appreciate when you do your homework because I know you have taken our return to the air seriously, and when we do stuff, it's going to be, for lack of a better term, wrestling heavy. The Jeff heavy shows. You want to make sure you Brian Cage and you get your shit in proper. And
right.
You mentioned 97. Yes, it was a different dynamic to see the stars from Lucha Libre, come out in the Rumble, but it wasn't a, oh my God, surprise. It was almost expected because the partnership had been formed with, I believe it was the AAA promotion at the time with the WWF. So you almost expected them to show up. Mel Mascaras surprising everybody by eliminating his damn self. That was just icing on the cake. It was funnier than hell.
Hey, but it got him a Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, that's what did it. Couldn't have been the fact that he was the most famous masked star in history besides El Santo. It couldn't have been the fact that his nephew was working for the WWE at the time and inducted his ass. But 98, like you said, 98 definitely with Foley, and I'm sure Foley will come up on one, if not both lists, a couple times today, more than likely. But that's the first one where you go, ooh, okay, that was different because like you said, Cactus was announced. He came out. Okay. He's going to fight Terry. Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Yeah. 2 minutes of Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
Yeah. That's how
Rumble.
Right. So,
again, we've had some great moments like that over the years. Punk and Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Undertaker and Shawn Michaels as 1 and 2. We've had some of those moments before where you just have these long-standing rivalries that for get the panties wet type of moment to start off the Rumble is like, ooh, we're already salivating. Can number 3 come out in like 5 minutes just so we can get some time of this?
I was going to mention Axe and Smash starting the Royal Rumble at 1 and 2, but they don't exactly make anybody's panties wet, but we'll go ahead and use an analogy anyway.
I immediately flashed to Jessie talking about popping her pussy, so
Well, goddamn, we're 8 minutes in. Here we go. Okay, it is what it is. Jiminy crickets. We love you, Jessie. We hope the Rumble numbers draw on tomorrow. Definitely benefits as it should, because my goodness, threw me off. Here we go. Okay. Let's just get to your list before we get too far down the rabbit hole. I'm about popping. Okay, never talk about voices rabbit holes. For the love of God, start your list before I get too sideways.
All right.
Slide the tape, kids. Slide the tape. Some bitch.
Starting off my list at number 10 was one of those straight up just what the fuck moments.
Right.
Because it started with 1, and then we got 2, and then we got all 3. And we're just like, really? You wasted 3 out of 30 entries on the commentators.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I forgot all about this. Ugh. Barf.
And the fact that Michael Cole lasted longer in the ring than Jerry Lawler, that is something that Michael Cole still talks about.
Well, you knew it'd be a thing.
Of course we did.
You knew it would.
It's just a head scratching, though.
Oh, yeah.
And it's done such for comedy because Lawler's in there, Lawler's music hits, and Cole's like, what? You're supposed to be sitting here doing your job, Keen. What the hell is wrong with you? What? It's a shot at WrestleMania. Yeah. Keen gets in there, eliminated. As soon as he gets eliminated, you hear Booker T's music hit, and it's like, you too? Damn it, we're supposed to be here doing our jobs. What is wrong with you?
Oh, my God.
And then Cole's music hits, and he's like, that's right, bitches. I'm in this thing, too.
and let us all
And then,
thank.
like I said, he lasts longer than Lawler
Yes.
did. It's like, what the hell?
Well, he lasted longer. His shorts didn't once Karma came out.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, the awesomeness that was Kong is like, yeah, no, bitch, get out of here with that shit. Honorable mention in this on this section, by the way, to the only appearance of JBL, the character,
Yes.
in the Royal Rumble match, because he did it too, and he had the same thing happen to him that happened to Lawler in '97 or whatever it was. Whoop, right back over the top rope. So, but yeah, the only time we saw John Bradshaw Layfield, the infamous rich cowboy gimmick for Bradshaw, was in an announcer capacity. So, yay on JBL.
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
So there we go. Got to start it off with a little bit of comedy.
So we're starting out with popping pussies, rabbit holes, and comedic announcers in the Royal Rumble. We're off to a bangers. Oh, geez. Go ahead, never mind. Oh, bitch.
The Boehner brothers with the Boehner
Stop
vest.
it.
Well, while we're on the topic of Boehners, let's just throw to a female surprise.
Oh, why not? You know, oh, there we go. The glam is on.
That's
I
right.
love it.
Only
I
the
love it.
second woman to compete in the men's rumble.
Yes.
On the heels of China, came out there, eliminated Great Khali,
Kiss of death.
and then she gets Punk up on her shoulders, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, is Beth Phoenix gonna eliminate CM Punk?"
Wouldn't have been awesome. Oh,
It would have been for you. I probably would have turned on Beth with that, because that was like in the midst of Punk's movement in his year. Like, he should have won the Rumble for that.
That's true. That was straight.
That was his year that he should have won.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But Beth Phoenix getting in there with the dudes and having more success than her predecessor.
Yes.
Because while China did eliminate Mark Henry as well, as soon as she eliminated Mark Henry, she was gone.
Yeah, because Austin got her. Yeah.
But Beth got in there. She eliminated Khali, and then she tangled with the boys for a minute there. It was like, okay, let's do this thing proper. This is how China should have been booked in the Rumble.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. You know, again, Joni. Joni was ever the trailblazer. 99 was her trailblazing year. We've talked about this, you and I. And again, we're talking honorable mentions. Beth in, I think it was her second appearance in the Women's Royal Rumble, getting freaking hard way busted open and damn near going the distance. Good on her, man. That was a night for both of those, both members of that married couple. I'm sure we'll get to her husband later. But man, Beth was a trooper. She had the Ric Flair bleeding blonde look for a good chunk of her time in that Rumble. So
yeah,
Beth will always get props for me for her Rumble appearances, because she was, and no doubt still is, a badass.
absolutely. So number 8 on my list was a moment that really made me say, holy shit. And I think it was the moment where I really realized that WCW, which would die a painful death a couple months later, was really dead. And that was 2001 when Haku came out.
Wow.
While still being the hardcore champion for WCW.
Right? Interesting selection. I dig it.
Because even though I was in my infancy as a fan at this point, I wasn't even 2 full years in.
Right.
I was watching enough, and I was watching both shows enough that when Ming came out,
right,
and you see the lower third, you're seeing Haku, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. He's the hardcore champion. He hasn't lost that belt yet. What is going on here? We talk about these days the Forbidden Door. Was this a Forbidden Door thing? Was he coming back to the company? Did he say FWCW, which we found out later is pretty much what he did? But all these thoughts are running through your head at that point. It's like, are WCW and WWF finally working together? Like, what is going on here?
It definitely was a moment in time that you go, brr? Yeah, it was cool though.
That's the only reason it's so low, because if it had been someone bigger from WCW, it probably would be higher. it's Haku.
Yeah, it's
No disrespect to arguably one of the legit toughest guys in the business ever.
we are not disrespecting
You
Haku.
you listen to anybody talk about Haku, mean whatever you want to call him. They talk about what a legit badass he was. So I'm not trying to ruffle those feathers
No,
or that hair for that matter. But
nope.
But had it been somebody bigger, it would have been more impactful.
It would have been like if the reigning, not having lost the WCW championship person crossed over WWE. Wait a minute. That happened the year before, but nobody acknowledged that on television. But and we can't acknowledge it now either, for the record. Apparently,
we do. God damn it, he's not Bruno.
Damn it, WWE won't though.
We always talk about the greatness that was Crispin Wah.
That's right, Crispin Wah. Coming soon from Mars Candies, Crispin Wah.
Yep. All right. So
I'm gonna stop making the joke because I'm just gonna get more inappropriate. Did it go?
So I've given 3 entries so far, and I've given 5 names so far. So that just shows how much I'm cheating.
Big old cheater.
And I don't care. And this one, as much as it's for me, as much as it's for you, this one right here is for Mikey T.
Oh boy. Ah ha ha! Ain't he
great? JEFF. JARRETT, the horseman himself, the leader of the new world order. The king of the mountain, baby.
That's right. The chosen one.
Jeff Jarrett. Don't piss him off.
That's right. And he is great. Damn it.
I popped so hard for that because that was the Rumble after his Hall of Fame induction.
Yes.
And just knowing that he was back in good graces with the company after all those years, even under the Vince administration.
Yes, he was. Yes, it was. I will
after
give them.
Vince buried him royally on the simulcast of Nitro and Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Just seeing him back. And granted, I never liked the country music that he used, the fiddles and everything.
Right.
I would have preferred if he had used the 99 Jeff Jarrett, the Don't Piss Me Off Canadian country theme song.
The one that became Deborah's theme ultimately. Yeah.
Like, I wish he would have used that one. I always liked that one a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Or if, hell, I think at this point he owns the rights to the My World song. He could have just used that.
If we can have Mickey James open the Forbidden Door using hardcore country, we can have My World. We can have My World on the Royal Rumble. So there you go.
He's used it in Impact and AEW, and I know that there at least used to be a working relationship between the two companies, but like you would think that at this point he probably just owns that song.
One would think so. I don't know so, but he owns everything else in WWE, so it didn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Not they're successful or anything, but he does own them.
There you go.
Love you, Jeff.
All right, so number 6. We're almost halfway through the list here. And this one was sentimental for me. Because it took place in the Garden, baby. And we all know that the Garden is the Garden.
God will always be the Garden, Vinny. That's right. Oh, look at you. Busting out the hot rod and the Superfly.
Now, obviously, it's more for Piper than it is Snuka. But Snuka came out first.
Yes.
So we have to acknowledge the Superfly, too.
Of course.
Which is why Piper came out next, because everyone immediately thinks of the coconut incident on Piper's Pit.
Right.
And especially so for the two of them to be in the ring again, way past their prime. I think I love Roddy, but I think his gut there should have got its own entry into the Rumble.
Right.
But, both of them way past their prime. But for them to be going toe-to-toe with each other in the middle of that ring in the Garden.
Yes.
It was just special.
It's definitely cool that both of them, at least, some of their I believe that was Jimmy's last on-screen appearance, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that. Not counting being in the audience for the Hall of Fame, every year because that's what Jimmy did. But definitely one of Roddy's last wrestling appearances, which was awesome too. Because again, as you said, the Garden will always be the Garden, and it was special to the company, especially when they were in their prominent eras. In the early '80s and even the mid '80s for both of them, really. That the 2008 Rumble was special.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
And the other surprise entrance, the main one from that show, I do not have on my list because I figured you would. So I just, figured, no sense in going too deep on multiples. I was trying to be me while still being a little bit more obscure because I knew that some of those you would have for sure.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about the guy who you can't see on the cover 2K23 later.
There you go. So number 5 is a more recent one, starting the second half of the list. And I mean,
oh man,
Captain Charisma, baby.
Just finished watching this one. So cool.
It was hearing that music hit, seeing him come out, hearing the crowd pop, and then the embrace by him. And we'll just go ahead and get into my number 4. Edge's surprise at the 2020 Rumble.
Oh God, yeah. Goodness gracious.
The Peacock Network, the Cock, has been teasing the Rumble surprises show that they're going to be premiering after the Royal Rumble this Saturday. And
we're a little busy though.
You hear him say it in the little soundbite that they show, and it's like, you want to know how I felt? Just look at my eyes.
Right.
And I could see it too, watching it back for my list purposes. I saw it the night when I first saw it, but I was really paying more attention to it this time. And I even pointed out to Cece, I was like, look at his face. Yeah. He's this close to crying as he comes out to the ring. And then when he gets in the ring and he's eliminated some people and he takes that moment in and he's looking around at the crowd, like you see it on his face, like, man, I never thought I would be back here.
Yep.
And you guys are giving me all this love.
Yeah.
And then again, going back to number 5, because I feel like we skipped over it a little bit, then you go back to the next year.
Yep.
And Edge has started the Rumble at number 1. And here's Christian coming out at 24.
Yeah.
And getting that embrace.
Yeah.
It
beautiful.
Storytelling, kids. That's what we do here on the Casa channel, the Multiverse of Media, specifically Renegades reviews. Yeah. Storytelling, man. That's why I put them where they are.
The one thing I regret for Jay about that is it was the Thunderdome crowd, not a legitimate organic crowd.
Yeah.
That sucked.
And that's the same thing that I hate about Victoria's entry that year.
I was going to say, I know
it was the Thunderdome crowd, but the difference is Victoria's not under contract to AEW like Christian now is, because WWE didn't want to put him and Edge together for a final run. So Jay was like, all right, you're not going to bring me back and make me part of the company? Deuces.
Yeah. And
Christian Cage is all elite.
Yeah. Him not getting hurt being what it, has become, man, he was on fire with gas with Jack and Luchasaurus. So we'll see what happens when he comes back.
Yeah.
But it's I'll talk about Edge in 2020 later, no doubt about that. But yeah, I'll never forget both of them coming back after neither one of them. It's one of those never. The spine's too bad. The neck's too bad. You'll never see them. You'll never see Steve. You'll never see Paige. This past year is called bullshit on everybody.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so glad for all of them.
Absolutely. My number 3, The best way I can introduce my number 3 is it is the one regret that I have from the time when I wasn't watching, because I wasn't able to see this live. I was only able to see it Memorex many years later when I started to get back into it.
Oh,
The
right.
debut of the Phenomenal One.
Oh,
You know,
did
you
we
want
ever
to
think?
talk about something that we never thought we would see.
Right?
Mr. TNA.
Yes.
And granted, the last few years of his tenure there were what they were, which ultimately led to him leaving, going to New Japan, and then getting signed by WWE.
Yep.
But did we ever think in 2005, 2008, 2010 that we would ever see the phenomenal AJ Styles in a WWE ring? And then
Hell,
to think that this is the 7th anniversary of his debut.
right? Yeah.
The
When
farm kid that we saw in PWG with that horrible haircut, combed down, looking like debut Randy Orton and shit, the farmer hair.
which is now an
And
action figure, by the way.
yeah, with
You
a
should
Nitro t-shirt because they can't do an Impact shirt, god damn it.
have.
I am so gonna buy that eventually because
Me
god
too.
damn it, that is my AJ Styles.
So if
What
we
I
can,
wish they had done, because I know it wasn't a TNA branded thing, they should have put the X Style shirt in there.
just right.
That has always been my shirt that I've wanted. That's up there on my bucket list. Like with my Owen 316, which I got eventually. I've
Yes.
always wanted that, the X Styles.
Such a good throwback shirt.
But man, AJ.
Yeah, it was definitely and again we'll give I'm gonna talk about AJ too, by the way, but the way Kevin Dunn and the team framed that. No, you didn't see him come out. You didn't see the Titantron, which said phenomenal, which is why the crowd popped their own whatever
Yeah,
before anybody else did. Because like, oh, we know what this is, and then you hear the announcers, could it be? And out he walks with his head down. It's like, oh my damn, shit's about to go down because
for
AJ's about to
real.
be. But you mentioned all those years. Did we even think in 2013 when he officially left Impact for good? I still didn't see that being a possibility.
No.
And there he was.
Yep.
Bonkers. That's only number 3. Now I'm curious who you got above AJ because AJ's our boy, man. I'm curious.
Well,
Oh shit. Excuse me.
I'm looking at 2 and 1 now, and I'm debating if I should flip flop them.
Oh no.
I still agree that they deserve to be above AJ, but I'm
Okay.
debating whether or not I should flip flop them or not. I'm
Oh.
not going to do it. I'm just going to leave them the way they are. Okay. Number 2 and number 1 are my biggest cheats of all, though.
Oh jeez.
Just for the record, I
Wow.
threw it out there. You know, hometown buffet style. This is everything. It was all on the table. Number 2, you'll understand when I show the graphic for number 2, because how could you pick just one from the 2018 Women's Rumble?
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It was the first.
Especially when you think about how much I've been like calling for what became the women's evolution before there was a women's evolution.
Yeah,
Before I was even really working with you in Wild.
it's true.
If you go back to the old episodes of A Hardy Conversation, there's an episode of me and Chris, and we got asked about women's wrestling. I forget the exact wording of the question, but I started talking about the possibilities of a women's Money in the Bank match then,
Yep.
and how we had names like Mickey James and Victoria and Gail Kim and Beth Phoenix and all these women that could do it then.
Yep.
But back then, they're just divas. They're tits and ass.
Yep.
And then we
Absolutely.
fast forward a few years, and the women's movement begins, and we get women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And then we get a women's Rumble.
Your show, man. Your batch.
And I've made no secret, when the music hit for so many of these women, specifically Lita,
Right.
I became so emotional.
Absolutely.
Vicky Guerrero, who has no music, trotting out there just screaming, "Excuse me," for a minute and a half.
Oh my God.
It should not have been as gold as it was.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
then she gets in the ring and she sees all the women in the ring and she sees Michelle and she's like, "Michelle, buddy." And Michelle's looking at her like, "This bitch.
This bitch here.
You are just 1 out of 29 in my way on my road to WrestleMania."
Right.
And I had to go turn it into a meme, because you always see that meme floating around where you can't hear an image. You look at that image of Vicky Guerrero, goddammit, you can hear that.
You can hear all of it in your nightmares.
I can hear it in Victorville, California, from Madison Square Garden. And that ain't even where that Rumble was. But
No.
I can hear it that far away.
That's right. That's right. They heard it at the Garden too, and we're shaking in their New York Rangers skates.
I can hear it from Wembley Stadium.
That's some international nightmares. For real.
So if we've done Haku, if we've done Piper and Snuka, if we've done Edge and Christian, if we've gotten Phenomenal, if we've discussed the lovely women of the WWE finally getting their just desserts, number one is Foley.
Nice. Now, okay. But go
And
ahead.
I did this on purpose,
Okay,
because all three of those are surprise entries.
Okay. I got you.
Cactus was announced in 98, but Dude Love and Mankind were not.
Right, exactly. Right.
04, Mick Foley, not Mankind, not Cactus Jack, ambushed the scheduled participant and was thrown out there by Austin to take his place.
Yes.
Which is really what sent the Orton feud into overdrive.
Yes.
It began at the Garden when Orton threw him down the stairs. It had bubbled under a little bit. The pot was bubbling, but it was on simmer.
Yes.
This was crank it into high gear. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
This led to Mania, led to Backlash, led to Orton walking down to the ring in those god-awful peach tights and finding the World Heavyweight Championship in the middle of the ring, climbing that top turnbuckle and posing.
And where the world title floated from to get to Toronto?
Madison Square
Garden. It all ties back to the Garden, baby.
That's right. So
we are terrible.
Number one for me is Foley. And like I said, it's hard to narrow down because all that is surprise.
Yeah, that's very true.
He is the originator of the multiple gimmick surprise.
Yes. Yes.
The fact that he did 3 gimmicks in one match and then 6 years later is back as himself as a surprise in the match.
Yes. Crazy. And wow. That's a hell of a thing to top. And I'm glad I get to go second, because I would have hated to be followed by that, because I feel humbled. But in any event, before we do that, before we get to my shit, we're talking about our collective shit.
That's right.
Because starting this weekend, God help us, is our first major WWE live watch along of 2023, and what you're about to see is just a teaser for the first quarter. This is all in this quarter, y'all,
and beyond.
And yeah, just beyond. Check it out. Jeez.
Now, of course, you saw the graphic there for Raw. Go back into the archives on either of our channels, on any of the channels in the multiverse. Check out the 6+ hour coverage for Monday Night Raw. The He-Man James Hebert and the Simple Man with the spectacular voice Noah Foster, joined by their friend Moonlight Mirage for the first broadcast to the East Coast, and then Jeff and I tried to follow that for the West Coast, and we failed miserably. But it was fun, damn it. That's all that matters. It was fun.
You talk about Disney, freaking the Renegade and Horsey Horse Collar here trying to follow Noah and James. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for real. Like that James and Noah were the Lion King. We were Pocahontas.
Oh, man. Damn.
We were decent. We had fun. It was enjoyable. Some people may have liked it. But how do you compete with the Lion King?
At least we're historically accurate, you and I.
There you go.
At least we weren't, romanticizing. Never mind. Yeah. I'm a planet boy. Okay, anyway, wow. That was almost really bad because Pocahontas and I do not get along. We don't mesh well. Yeah. We are not like peas and carrots. Wow. No. Okay. Goodness gracious. All right, let's get into my list before it gets too crazy.
Yeah.
I almost got myself fired. So you get me fired. It's me getting me fired on the show today. Anyway. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll say 5.5 or so. Okay. Not surprising considering how awesome we both think the Rumble is. So
absolutely.
The number 10 is one that wasn't a monumental surprise, but it was a pretty cool reminder of the past. So in 2013, the show-off himself, Dolph Ziggler, decided that he was going to, pull a Shawn Michaels and enter himself number 1 just to do as Shawn do and go coast to coast. It's like, all right. People had forgotten that the previous summer, Dolph, who had at that point been Mr. Money in the Bank, had and went into this Rumble still holding the briefcase. So let's not forget that. He was still Mr. Money in the Bank, making out with AJ Lee and having the awkwardness that was Biggie Langston just kind of standing there, statue-like, kind of like Booker T during the Bad Bunny song, which I just watched, and had put his briefcase on the line in a match versus the man who came out number 2 in his career in WWE. Rumble is Jericho. Now, Jericho always gets a pop when he comes back after a hiatus. That's just Chris's gimmick now. And I think 2012 when he came back and, did the whole best in the world thing with Punk, he got a good reaction. But this was a surprise because we didn't know he was going to be there. And it was awesome to hear that crowd, pop like crazy. I forget where they were because I remember that was the same year that Rock won the title and John won the Rumble again to go to face Rock. But, man, this Rumble, John won it or not, Jericho set the tone with his surprise entry at number 2. So it's cool to see Chris back. So that's my number 10. And again, lower because it wasn't a wow. Like it's like, oh, okay, well, cool. He's getting his revenge on Dolph. That makes sense.
At that point in Jericho's career, it almost had become passé.
Yeah.
That he would leave right after summertime, go do something with Fozzy, and then come back around the Rumble to get the Road to WrestleMania push.
Yep.
So I think that's why Jericho didn't officially make my list, because it became kind of like a trend there for a while.
Right.
But it was a cool moment after Dolph thought he had vanquished the evil Ayatollah of rock and rolla from the WWE.
That's right.
And here he comes back, the ghost of Christmas past, if you will.
Never underestimate Chris Jericho when it comes to his comebacks, because he will always reset that bar even higher.
Just like the Rolling Stones in their 1,232nd farewell tour,
which was 20 years ago. There you go. You know what? The Voodoo Lounge is actually a pretty cool show. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty cool. But that was '94. Anyway, that was 30 years ago. Anyway, or no, yeah, 30 years. God damn, 94, 30 years ago. I just aged exponentially in that one sentence. Christ, Jay. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my Ovaltine. I'll be right back. We'll go over a commercial. And then damn. Number 9 is where we kind of share. This is one that's the halvesies. A fresh face of Foley into speaking of 2000 foe. And again, I didn't put this with the other Foley entry, which is coming later. Just because it was a different Rumble. I mean, your logic in placing them together makes complete sense. I just didn't put
At least it did in my brain.
No. It makes complete sense.
It's a dangerous place to go sometimes. But
Yes. Our collective brains and our when we end up sharesies is a scary, scary place, and almost like being on Mickey's Runaway Railway, which I'm probably on right now. Scream my head off, try not to die. Excuse me, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Y'all really got with the Imagineering with that much tongue tying? I love you guys, but Jesus Christ.
Double M's, double R. There we go.
Yeah, that's it. And Double J was earlier, so there you go. It's all good. And Double J's right here. So there you go. Woo! Foley in 2004 was a complete surprise. Well, yes and no. And again, that's why it's so low, because part of the story thread of the 2004 Rumble was JR saying on Raw that if Foley didn't show up as he was invited to do, that JR would admit Foley was a coward, and Taz, that ever lumping Oompa Loompa that he is, needled JR before the match started, and JR admitted it. And when Foley came out there, I think only Mick Foley himself was happier than JR, because JR was so glad he was able to validate Mick Foley and not being a coward. And for the record, it was Tess that was taken out by Mick Foley in the back, and Austin just was the pissed off Texan, which Austin just calls that Tuesday normally.
I was 99.5% positive it was Test.
Yes.
But I didn't want to open my mouth and then make an ass of myself. So
that's why I am the professor. Make sure we get the red lines through stuff, because we got you. I got it, and I remember it because Tess was, I believe, in the midst of his Stacy Keebler as his marketing director stuff, which, truth be told, was golden shit. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun stuff to watch, but
the testicles.
I wasn't going to mention that part of it, but yeah, it was.
We talked about getting wet and popping pussies before I even started my list.
Yeah,
we can mention the testicles, God damn it.
I was trying to avoid it because we've already been popping pussies going down rabbit holes. Now we're talking about testicles. Let's just make this a porn channel. Fuck it. Like, for real. YouPorn.com /
In that case, the testicles would have to slam against the rabbit hole.
Oh my God, we're done. That's it. YouTube's gonna throw us off. That's it. We're over. This is the last show we do. This is the last one. That's it.
Over? You're goddamn right. We're over.
That's right. Buy the shirt. We don't own that one, but buy it anyway if you can find it.
You might be able to find it on eBay because it's not on Shop Zone.
I'm gonna say it's either that or we can go the Pritchard one. I used to be over because we used to be and we still are. Okay, moving right along.
Dun.
Which we also own that, by the way. It's all good. Number 8, Phoenix Rising, 2010. Man, it was awesome to see Beth Phoenix come out there in the men's Rumble. It was funnier than hell to see her eliminate Great Khali with the kiss of death. And
the original KOD.
Right? And it was a legitimate possibility that she was going to toss CM Punk out. And yes, Punk being in the best part of Punk, the Straight Edge Society, the story that should have gone on forever, would have definitely pissed off both of us here in this room. But man, Beth being a surprise, because we always talk about Joni and the Rumble because it was a milestone moment, but it was well established previously that she was going to be in that match.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a surprise. I think every woman in the men's Rumble since then has been a surprise. You figure Beth,
yeah.
You figure Karma, and you mentioned Nia earlier. I think Joni's the only one that was already announced. So Beth setting her own trend, establishing her own blazed trail here. So
True.
Glamazon doing Glamazon things as she do. We love Beth on this show. We really do. As we should. And, Adam Copeland can vouch for being okay with loving Beth Phoenix because, damn it, she's awesome. Number 7 is also one we share. So 9, 8, and 7 are sharesies so far. Number 7, I was proud of you when I saw this come up on your list. I'm not going to lie. I was proud of you for getting that in because, yeah, it was. I'll never forget watching the 2001 Rumble. And no, I'm not putting Drew Carey on my list because it wasn't a surprise because it was announced during the show. Yes, but it was still announced prior to.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing that music, and I'm like, okay, that could be a lot of people. And then they cut to this, and there's Haku. It's like, what the shit? And no, not only did he not lose the WCW Hardcore Championship, he literally handed it to his buddy, the Barbarian, and went, okay, deuces, I'm out of here. That's exactly what he did. He was backstage. I don't know if it was at Sin or if it was at Nitro or whatever it was. He was like, okay, bye. I'm out of here. And I think the Barbarian still has that belt to his day, if I remember right. Either that or WWE finally got their hands on it because WWE's been looking for the hidden treasures on A&E, so they may have gotten it back by now. But the WCW Hardcore division just kind of was what it was. It was playing catch-up ball the entire time.
Yeah.
And, you figure there were more prominent injuries in that division than there were credible champions. Johnny the Bull breaking basically the entire lower half of his freaking body in a hardcore match. Finley damn near dying in that junkyard match with the infection he got. So if they hadn't
probably my favorite WCW hardcore champion was Crowbar, Devon Storm.
Devon Storm was, yes, but I will always go to Norman Smiley. As
he was definitely the most iconic because he was the Al Snow, if you will.
Right.
He was the guy with the goofy gimmick.
Yes.
That got over big time.
Because of
the goofy gimmick.
And
Screaming Norman in the Wiggle. And
you think about how prominent both those guys are nowadays as
trainers,
two of the best trainers, two of the best teachers in the history of the game. Does it take a Bruno Sammartino or a Hulk Hogan to be a good trainer?
No.
And to know your shit. Norman and Al both in that category, but yeah.
Well, Al's been respected in that category since Tough Enough, if we're being real.
Well, no, I agree with that, but you figure prior to Tough Enough, it was how often do you crack on the new rockers on this show? I mean, really, Avatar, before it became a multi-billion-dollar franchise for James Cameron, because he needed the multi-billion dollars.
Too much in a tag team match against Al Snow and Head at the King of the Ring 98, pinning Head because they put a bottle of Head and Shoulders underneath him so they could pin Head's shoulders.
With the King refereeing that, by the way. Let's not forget that. Jerry taking care of his boy there. Talk about Jerry's kids. Jerry's taking care of his kid there, damn it. We going to hell for that comment right there. Just for that one. Because Brian's gone. Head and Shoulders is what it is. And Jerry Lewis is gone. Wow. We going to go to hell today. Some bitch. All right. Haku back in WWE for that brief cup of coffee, literally, because he came in, he had that partnership with Akishi for about 37 seconds on SmackDown, pretty much.
I still think Haku back in the WWE lasted longer than Mr. Perfect.
Which is they
both lasted longer than Taka Michinoku running into that Rumble.
Yeah. The 2000 Rumble and Kai Tai. Yeah, that's it. I know Kurt made it to the plane ride from hell, which was May of 2002. I don't even think Haku made it to Mania.
Maybe. It just seems like like lasted longer.
Either way, I mean, again, Haku's a badass. Both of them not making it past SummerSlam in their big comebacks is just like, really? So All right, number 6 is one I'm surprised you didn't mention. I'm not going to lie, because it was a major pop, but as you mentioned with AJ, it was during your hiatus. Matter of fact, it was the year after your hiatus really went into full push. Number 6 is Bubba Ray in Philadelphia, PA, 2015.
I did have his image saved. He was definitely in serious contention.
Okay,
I just felt like the others were better.
that's hey,
No
that's
disrespect to Mark,
no, no,
but
no, no.
yeah, I mean, you go back to the AJ comment after the Dudleys left unceremoniously after the original one night stand. Who would have ever thought that we'd hear that music again and he would come down to a WWE ring?
Yep. And then he and Devon that summer coming back and going for another run, like a full on run. And it was cool to see, but of course, ECW in Philadelphia, peas and carrots, or blood and guts if you want to be real. Just so cool to see, and he got a pop, man. Wells Fargo Center lit up like a Christmas tree for him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
again, the 15 Rumble was what it was because of Roman and all that shit that went down, and no Daniel Bryan winning. So, but that was one of the cool positive moments in that Royal Rumble, was seeing Bubba Ray back in
Absolutely.
WWE, and it was awesome to see. And when you talk about people coming back in the Rumble and surprisingly going on a little bit of a run after their Royal Rumble return, number 5 for me, we're getting into the second half now, was 2011. And no, it was not Booker T, although I did pop for Booker T in the 2011 Rumble. It was the other return from Impact Wrestling, as not just Kevin Nash, nay, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, with the music and the horns blowing, and Kevin just friggin' walking out there and putting the glove on and just doing the pose, which is what I got there on that picture. I was such a fan of Diesel's growing up watching wrestling, prior to him jumping, of course, and setting the world afire, as we know, as you know, I know that I love the NWO so much. But Diesel was never supposed to be a thing. He was a collegiate, damn near turned, granted European, but pro basketball player who was disenchanted with the business. And it just happened that Shawn Michaels and the Steiner brothers turned on WCW Saturday night one random afternoon in '93 and went, who's the big guy? And Rick said, oh, it's Kevin Nash. I've known him for years. Do you think we can get him here? Yeah, probably. Freaking Nash gives his notice to Ole, goes over to the business office at Turner and faxes WWF his release papers so he can go to WWF the next weekend in Albany. Just that's some Kevin Nash shit, right? Like just the moxie, like, yep, I'm gonna fax my release to WWF from the WCW offices because I can. I love Kevin, I really do.
Yeah.
But he wasn't supposed to be a thing, man. He ended up being I think only the 3rd ever Triple Crown champion, and then he was gone. And Diesel, other than a brief moment with Glenn Jacobs in the leather, but Diesel was gone. But there he was in 2011 in that, crazy 40-man Rumble that probably shouldn't have been. And it was a Big Daddy cool moment. It was awesome to see Kevin back with the jet black hair and the Diesel stuff on. It was cool. And then he's been back sporadically ever since. He came out to NWO Music, I think, the next year, and he kind of had that little blip in the summer of 11 during the summer of Punk, and we won't talk about
I try to forget about that.
Yeah, because even my 3-year-old son was like, what just happened after he powerbombed Punk and Alberto became champion? My 3-year-old's going, no.
Yeah.
No. When the 3-year-old rejects you, it's time to stop.
That was another one that I had in contention. Both he and Booker, I was going to do another cheatsies and have them side by side. But I know you in the NWO. I know with you and with them, it's for life.
Yes.
So I let you have that one.
There are very few things in my life that have been longer in my life for life than the NWO. And, there you go. Number 4 is another one we sharesies. Halfsies, I'll say. Because I did put the 3 of 8. Now, I did include Cactus in this graphic only because while Cactus and honestly, this was the time before they really started announcing who was going to be in the Royal Rumble. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, they're here, cool. But Cactus started the match. Okay, cool. So we're going to see Cactus and Chainsaw, and they're crazy. But like you said, out came Mankind about halfway through, and then out came the dude looking a little worse for wear. Was the dude? It wasn't exactly doing his little his white shoe strut there. He was little winded, if you will. I can't imagine why. Must have been that long trip from Truth or Consequences to New Mexico after watching the other 20, however many guys go before him. Must have been a long day for the dude.
Yeah.
But, Mankind, that's a long way from the boiler room. I imagine he was tired walking in from the bowels of the building, which is why he looks so ragged, more than usual anyway. Nick's great. I can't say enough good things about Mick Foley. Mick Foley's the reason I have this shirt as my alternate Santa outfit when I'm not, dressed for Disney stuff. But, we talk about Mick Foley having the original multi-gimmicks. We were actually discussing this when I was over there earlier this month for the AW shows. There's only like 1 or 2 people that have been in the Rumble as more gimmicks than Mick Foley, but nobody on the same night.
Yeah.
And that's why Mick's special.
That's right.
So
that's why 3, I want to see somebody else do that. They don't have to do as many as Mick.
No.
Because I don't think there's anybody there right now that really has that many gimmicks.
No.
The only person I could think of that is technically under contract right now who could maybe pull off 3 gimmicks would be Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, technically speaking.
Have him come out as Nikki from the Spirit Squad, have him come out as Kerwin White's caddy, and have him come out as Dolph.
He only should come out as Kerwin White's caddy if Chavo's in the golf cart with him when they go down the aisle.
That's right, goddammit.
Because 3 people will pop for it, and 2 of them will be us, and it'll be okay. Because we love Chavito, we love
the only guy I can even think of that could do 3 gimmicks.
Yeah. I mean, you could stretch Armstrong it and maybe say Bray, because the different facets of Bray Wyatt, but that's a stretch.
That's right, goddammit. He needs to come out in the sleeveless Nexus shirt and be Husky Harris again.
Hell, have him pull a Goldust and cosplay as IRS. Why not? Damn it. You remember Dusty Dust. You don't tell me you don't remember Dusty Dust, damn it. You remember.
Why you do that?
Hey, at least it wasn't Baby New Year Goldust, because that was just wrong on levels. As was the Porta Potty Aftermath. Poor Dustin. He took so much shit, but I'm gonna move on. Anyway.
I mean, we could get Molly and Mighty Molly in the same
Rumble.
You
did. I forgot about Mighty Molly. It was funny.
They haven't been in the same Rumble yet.
No.
But we could get that. Make a little history on the women's side of things.
Like I said, make us special in that for now. But yeah, we're sitting here. Dylan was over yesterday. We're watching the 2020, whatever it was, 21 Rumble, and out came Mighty Molly. Oh, it's Molly. Who? Molly Holly. Who? Go back to your music, boy. Just stop. Yeah, I've taught you better than that, damn you. I've tried anyway. I really have. His mother doesn't help that process. Number 3, my voice goes, is another one we shares. He's like I said. Who would have?
Same spot.
Oh, it was the same spot. You're right. Look at that. Didn't even mean to do that. That's awesome.
See, and you picked on me for having it number 3. If he's your number 3 and he's our boy, what could be better? And you have it at the same spot.
Well,
So I ask you, Jeff, if you have AJ as your number 3 and he's our boy, who could be better?
You know who. But we'll get there.
Yeah, but we can't see him.
Well, no, but there's also one even better than that. So there you go.
Oh,
right there.
Ooh. That's not your number 1. Now I'm intrigued.
No, it's not.
Okay,
so,
I think I know what your number 1 is now. Then.
Yeah, you probably. But yeah, no, I have often, especially this last 18 months, never say never. I would have bet money. I would have bet a house or at least a car, that AJ Styles would never be in WWE. Just wasn't a possibility. He was everything that was TNA Impact Wrestling. Everything. And
it's like how Ric Flair was WCW. Like, he was branded Crockett and World Championship Wrestling. And then there he was in 92.
or even Sting, God, it took Sting how long to get there, and we still talk about it now. It's like, that actually happened. Sting was in the WWE. AJ's still there 7 years later, like you said. It's funny you mentioned, the anniversary. I forget what Rumble it was, a recent one because I just watched it. Where he came out with Omos at ringside with him. And, Corey Graves talking about, it's almost a moot point now because he's done so much in the brief time he's been here. It's like, man, you think about how much he did in that first year alone. And now he's been, if you count the U.S. title as part of it, he's been a Triple Crown, Grand Slam, all those things. And that was only in the first either 2 or 3 years he was there. Yeah. You and I have talked about how much he's kind of just like treaded water the last couple years. And now he's hurt, of course, going into Saturday, so we won't see him at the Rumble, which sucks.
I know.
But
I'm hoping that he'll get to 10 years in the company and then finally retire. I've heard when this contract that he's on right now is over, that's it. But I don't know how many years he's got left on this contract. I would like to see AJ be a 10-year WWE vet before he retires, though.
I agree, without a doubt. He's still wrestling at phenomenal levels, and I think he can keep going on that. Quick sidebar to the action figure. By the way, go to your local Target or Walmart or whatever. There's actually an AJ Styles figure with a WCW Nitro and that god-awful freaking exploding vagina shirt, the logo. That's a Bischoff thing, not a me thing. I am totally stealing that from 83 Weeks, by the way. But look at the logo for 901 and tell me I'm wrong. Exploding vagina. So we're
getting wet, popping pussies, going down rabbit holes, slamming testicles against rabbit holes, and now we've got an exploding vagina.
This is the most visceral, porn-centric show we've done in 2 years, at least. Damn. But what's funny about the face scan, at least on the image, on the box, I forget who it was on Twitter, so forgive me. It may have been the WCW Worldwide Twitter account, which I think is a great account. They traced it back. It looks like the face scans from that old TNA photo shoot where he's all in the blue, and I think it was during his Legends Championship run. It was like, that's a TNA picture they used, but they just edited it heavily. So I found that funny anyway. Just little things you notice when you're a figure on a belt, Mark. All right, we talked about it. We kind of dragged the cat out of the bag forcibly, but it's John Cena. Oh my God! 2008. The Garden. We talked about what the hell. This dude's, don't look at me in that tone of voice. This dude's pectoral was ripped off its bone in October. And he's in the Royal Rumble. And he came out at 30, but he's in the Rumble. Then he's having championship match at No Way Out. He's headlining, not main eventing WrestleMania. Shouldn't have been a thing. It should not have been.
You're right. And if it hadn't been a thing, I probably wouldn't have turned on him and stopped watching the way I did.
I know.
But shit like this is what made me turn.
Okay.
Stop watching.
Okay.
Because there's no reason that he should have been back that quickly. You notice, Cody hasn't been back that quickly. Same injury, probably less severe. Because I don't think it was torn straight off the bone.
No. Cody's wasn't at the point.
So with that logic, Cody could have been back by SummerSlam. Minimum Survivor Series in time for War Games.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Because the moment's going to be bigger tomorrow for him to be back.
No, because they've announced he's coming back.
But it's still going to be a big moment when he wins.
If he wins.
He'll win.
If they don't go with Sami Zayn.
Which would be a big moment too. I'd be okay with that.
A big moment for Cody. all that, and not even win.
If you can take out
the fact that you had the dramatic pause there goes to illustrate my point.
No, I was just trying to think of what I wanted to say rather than come off because I'm also trying not to choke on my own freaking phlegm here being sick. Yes, John didn't need to return in 2008. I agree with that. Or at least at the Rumble in 2008. I agree with that. I'm not saying you're wrong in your thought process. What I'm saying is this is a top 10 surprise entrance. It was a major surprise. The Garden popped its own pussy. The roof damn near flew to fucking Jersey when he came out there.
I won't dispute that it wasn't a major surprise. I won't dispute that.
Okay.
But it shouldn't have happened.
And I agree with that.
So.
And I agree with that.
That's where I am Harvey Dent on the situation. Was it a huge pop? Absolutely.
Yes.
But it shouldn't have happened. He should not have been back that soon. He should not have been back until Raw after Mania soonest.
At best, exactly. And
not hotshot him for Mania.
And to be fair to both of us and to him, since we become acquainted, how many times have we given him shit for stuff like this?
I know.
And not taking care of his own
on the air, damn it, because if I can say it in private, I can say it in public too.
Not taking care of his own damn self, which is why when he goes away for these long periods of time, other than you giving him crap for pulling the Rock move, it's like, dude, yes, rest. Don't hurt your goddamn self no more, you old crazy fool. He's 45.
I wouldn't give him crap for pulling the Rock move if he hadn't
know.
Said that shit on the air.
I know.
If he had just left it alone, give Rocky shit for disappearing, fine. But don't say that you're here each and every week and now you're not there each and every week. And you're not there each and every week because you're doing the same thing Rocky's doing.
I know.
If you had just decided to retire, go home, be a husband, not do it each and every week, that's one thing. But when you're following in Dwayne's footsteps, doing the exact same thing that he kicked the doors down for, you come off as a hypocrite. Hypocrite.
Buy the shirt coming soon to the quarter.
That's right.
All right. So if it wasn't John, and Lord knows
it's the man who we thought we knew.
Yes. How do you? I mean, granted, I got the screaming, like popping for his own damn self moment here, not the crying moment. But man, I'll never forget Jay as long as I live. God, I'm getting crying thinking about the moment now. So at that point, over here was still I'm in the original Casa de Meacham that's been on the internet since 2002. Originally over here, this was still my room at that point, and what the hell was I doing during the Rumble? I forget what I was doing, to be perfectly honest with you, but I hear my dad pop. And everybody, it's dead. I'm like, and by the time I rounded the corner, he was already in the ring. So I missed the moment. But you talk about never in a billion years, because of how severe the injury was, because of how emotional and poignant the moment was when he walked out on Raw and literally said, I have to retire. It wasn't I'm stepping away to get better. It wasn't I need some time away. I have to retire.
Mm-hmm.
That was 9 years prior to this.
Mm-hmm.
It, for me, is the most emotional return from injury, from career-ending injury at that I have seen and will likely ever see.
Yeah.
I
totally agree with that. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I feel like he should have probably been number one on mine as well. But it's like, I had a story to tell.
You did.
and I still stand behind my choices for who I am.
And it was, like I said, you're having to follow your list. I feel like I'm trying to follow Shawn Michaels, so I appreciate the trend being set. But man, I have bawled. You've been in the building with me. We weren't hanging out at the time, but I've been in the building when Hogan returned in '05 at the Pond, and just a blubbering idiot. I bawled when he came out for the Hall of Fame. I bawled at 7 years old. I didn't really realize what I was bawling at when Randy and Elizabeth reunited at WrestleMania. 8 years old, excuse me, at WrestleMania 7. I have cried over this business so goddamn much at this point in my life, but never like this. It was so wonderful and so gratifying as a fan, as somebody who has had their life altered by an injury that was not expected, was not in the wheelhouse, if you will, or in the projections. It was so just viscerally rewarding to see him come back, much more so than even our own friend Brian Danielson. And that's hard for me to admit, but I'm having that moment right now in my head saying it because it's true. Because Brian came back, as fucking great as that was when he got to announce he was coming back. Brian was always like, it always seemed like there was just not enough people to clear him. It was just that always those hiccups.
Yeah.
Edge was done. Adam was retired. That was it. There was no discussion. He was at peace with it. Brian was never at peace with his retirement. He was never at peace with having to step away, nor was Saraya, which is why it's cool she's back too. But we were all at peace with Adam's retirement because he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then, goddamn it, here he comes in the Rumble. It was like, what? Okay, it's a one-off. It's a one and done. No, he's still going. Is he more injury prone?
At least until Mania, from what the reports say.
Yeah.
And the question is like, who does he have his last match with?
Yeah.
You know, the odds-on favorite would be Judgment Day.
Of course.
You know, do you then do the mixed tag? Do you do Edge and Beth versus one of them and Rhea? Yeah. Well, Rhea should be in Dominic's corner if it's going to be Dominic versus Ray. Unless you split the matches on both nights.
Which is fine too.
You know? Then it's like, so who do you put Edge against? Do you put him against Finn or Priest?
I would say Priest. And I only say Priest because it was Priest that Edge acquired first.
Yeah, I was going to say that was his first recruit.
Yep, first recruit. Thank you.
Or do you go with somebody more legendary?
Oh, yeah.
And do you do Edge? Maybe legendary is the wrong word, but long tenure. Do you like Edge and Ziggler? Because that would be fucking money. That would be so good.
But, you know, at the end of the day, getting back to the surprise, we shouldn't even be talking about Edge wrestling at WrestleMania in 2023.
I know.
But we are. And it was so amazing. And to this day, every single year, the last 3 years, every single time I put on my Rumble binge and that moment happens and he's in there silhouetted by the gray and the smoke and he's just got that look on his face like, holy fuck, I'm here. And like you said, the moment you put up with him in the ring doing the same thing, it's you know, for everybody that craps on wrestling and everybody, you know, shits on WWE for, you know, what they present out there. It's like, you know what? You go back and you watch that moment, and then you go back and watch his retirement speech in 2011, then go back and watch the moment. And if you're not moved by that emotion, then you got less of a soul than this fat ginger right here. Yeah. Just saying. Just saying. It's beautiful.
It is. It really is.
Man.
Hell of a list, sir. Very well done. I know it was hard following me. You told me what a bar I set, but I think you did a tremendous job of your own there, sir.
I appreciate the praise. It is high praise. And you know what? I think it's the most we've shared.
In a while, definitely.
Yeah, definitely in a while, yeah. So that just shows how emotional and real these moments were for us as fans. So
yeah.
It's very cool.
So what have we
It,
got coming up here after this, sir?
well, I mean, God, the next time we're on the air doing the dad's thing in less than 2 weeks now, because
Yeah.
Jeff had to rebook shit, but the top 10 musicians we lost to soon. That's going to be a rough one. I'm not going to lie. This one's already in the can, for the record.
Joint list. We
joint
both
list.
collaborated on this one.
Had to.
Yeah. There was you thought there was a lot of repeats today. There would have been way too many on that one. We just had to collaborate on it, make it easy.
Because musicians, there's so many similarities in our list. We're like, you know what? We're going to be here for, doing the same list 2 hours straight. It's like, meh. The next time we cover the wrestling will be in 4 weeks as we approach, let's see, that week. Actually, we'll have just come off the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, premium live event, excuse the hell me, with our top 10 all-time matches in the history of No Way Out. Again, No Way Out, I feel, is a lost gem of a show, a B show, because of the chamber being where it is now.
Yeah.
But man, No Way Out was so fun. Always was.
Absolutely.
You figure you had, I'm not going to get into the matches necessarily, but, there's just the stories building up to Austin and Hunter, Cactus and Hunter, Cactus' original retirement, stuff like that. There's so much meat on that bone that we can't not cover No Way Out in February. So
it was the perfect middle, second base, if you will, on the road to WrestleMania.
Yep. Exactly.
Even going back to its inception, in the 98 one where you had Hunter with China, the Outlaws, and the newest member of DX, Savio Vega.
Oh, I hear say Kurt Angle.
Against Austin, Owen, Cactus, and Chainsaw. You had the Austin Michaels development there.
Yep.
Because Shawn wasn't there, but we all knew we were on the road to that because he had won the Rumble.
Yes.
You had the Triple H Owen. You had the Outlaws, Cactus, and Chainsaw. And then you had Savio, who just was there for a payday.
Well, you figure
a
if
bar,
Shawn
not actual money, not a paycheck, but a payday bar. That's all
right.
They had to throw his way to get him out there.
That's right. Didn't you need a contact?
You had the iconic Nation promo backstage where Rocky's just like rolling his eyes while Farouk runs his mouth. There's so much gold on that show, and not necessarily great matches, but there's so much gold on that show that pushed towards WrestleMania 14.
You think about the February show has definitely been the bridge on the road, if you will, between Rumble and Mania. If Shawn stays healthy and is in that 8-man tag, you've got 3 marquee matches in that match because the European title match, the tag title match, and the world title match are in there.
Yep.
And like I said, Savio was only there, like you said, for that payday bar. He didn't need a Klondike bar. He just needed the payday. Good on him. Good on Savio for working cheap. If you know, you know. Paydays ain't actually cheap no more either, to be honest with you. But
none of them are.
None of them are.
But I digress.
Charlie
Buy
Brown's
the shirt.
Find the old shit.
But I digress. Buy the shirt. Mine's getting delivered today as we film this.
Is it? That's the one you ordered. Good job. Appreciate it.
That'll be my outfit for Saturday, baby.
And so, we're doing my outfit for today, getting the synergy going because, again, man, the Rumble is this weekend. We'll talk about that momentarily. You, my friend, starting tomorrow, are wrapping up your month of musicals and getting into that love thing.
Yes. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which I've had a rough relationship with Guillermo del Toro in the past, but the cast of this seems pretty interesting. I don't know if you've heard who the people are that doing voices, but you got Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
You've got Christoph Waltz. You've got Tilda Swinton, Kate Blanchett, Ron Perlman, Finn Wolfhard. You got a pretty darn good cast here for Pinocchio, so I have high hopes. I just hope my hopes aren't too high.
He's got high.
Then, of course, I'll be wrapping up the musicals month with the double feature picture show, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yes.
God, that is so iconic. I can't wait to sit down and actually talk about it. And then,
I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about Rocky because you and I have a history with Rocky, so it'll be fun to watch.
And then kicking off the half month of chick flicks with a double feature of Matthew McConaughey on Wednesday and Friday, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, and Failure to Launch. That should be a lot of fun.
Both those are so cute. They're so good.
Neither one of which I've ever seen before, so
Really?
it's
Oh,
gonna be good. I try to pick as many as I can that I've never seen, so I can kind
course.
of check off the list there. But
Yes.
you've
Absolutely.
gotta get stuff in there that you've done before and and you can talk about, ad nauseum like Rocky Horror.
The Lord knows, Rocky Horror, there's a lot of meat on that bone.
And then what do we have tomorrow, good sir?
Well, tomorrow is I was going to go ahead and do the other stuff for the rest of the week, but we'll go ahead and get in the Rumble now. Hell with it. The Royal Rumble. My God, it's like I said, it's your favorite night of the year. It's your favorite match of the year. It's our buddy Greg Cherry's favorite match of the year. We had the Rumbles draw on Wednesday with him and his cavalcade of characters. I had to miss, fortunately, because I had a doctor appointment, but the Royal Rumble is the official start to the road to WrestleMania. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to talk all about it afterwards on open mic night, along with whatever topics I know the Renegade here will no doubt throw our way and get us all worked up about, as only JJ can do when we're talking about the world of professional wrestling. Damn it. Again, it's going to be a great, great weekend of content on the multiverse of media. I did notice down here at the bottom, I forgot to move them up during the course of the list. I did want to mention, we talked about that. I originally thought it was going to be just surprises at the Rumble. When I originally had the thought in my brain. So I just want to throw it out really quick. The three things that surprised me that weren't entries in the Rumble that just were what the hell. First of all, this was a heartache. It was just vicious. Matt Hardy, of course, turning on Jeff, and still the storyline going absolutely nowhere whatsoever. Beyond
Just like I did the last time.
Extreme Rules, I think it was that blow off? Yeah. The infamous record setting from Santino. I wasn't ready, but the one that we all talk about, Maven eliminating The Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Oh, just bonkers. But that's, again, the Rumble it's tomorrow. God, I forgot we're on Friday. It's tomorrow night. Please check out everything we've done here lately this month alone. And again, if you are so inclined, we would appreciate it. Get a like, get a subscribe to the Casa channel, get that bell ding so you can see when they're coming. Yes. Please watch everything you can on the Casa. Got to get them watch hours up. I always appreciate having the watch hours and the money that comes with it, but we got to get this man monetized by WrestleMania. That is the goal we've set. So please check that out this weekend and beyond. And again, happy anniversary to the Walt Disney Company. 100 years.
Yes.
Love you guys.
So what did you guys think of our lists? Let us know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over there next to Jeff. If you're watching later on in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. As he said, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Notification bell turned on. That way you're alerted anytime we drop a video or anytime we go live. You know, all that good stuff is handed to you by subscribing, liking, turning that bell on. For the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham, I am the Renegade JJ Williams. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you guys next time.